This is me stripping a new chain. This is my ultrasonic cleaner, and this is the new chain that I'm stripping. What I'm going to do is right here. This is a chain stripper I was telling you about. Here is the fresh stuff that's not using, but I'm going to be reusing stuff that I used a week ago that I filtered through a coffee filter. And I'm going to pour it into the ultrasonic cleaner. Here am I pouring it into the ultrasonic cleaner. And so this is the new chain. Here are the quick links. I'm going to put those off to the side. These are the quick links. Like I said, they color them, which is kind of nice. Do not wax the quick link. It's not necessary, and it'll make it more difficult to install. The quick link is a very precise fitting. In fact, you might want to scrape off the wax that's on the end here, because even that will make the quick link more difficult to install. It doesn't need wax because there is enough wax left in here, and when you push the quick link through, that wax will push out on the other side. And now you can see the chain stripper is bubbling, and I'm just leaving it alone for a while. I do occasionally pick up the basket, jostle it around a little bit, and that shakes it up. So now the ultrasonic cleaner has shut off, and 15 minutes have gone by. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put it in the chain into a jar with water and shake it up and rinse out all the chain stripper. So now I'm adding some warm water. And you can see it's a bit cloudy. And so now I'm closing that up. Tightening it up, doing a shake. And then you can see how cloudy it is. Dump out the water, new water. It's getting clearer. Shake. And that's pretty good. Now the chain is completely stripped. You could feel by articulating the chain that there's no lube in there at all. None of the factory grease, which, by the way, if you didn't know, the factory grease is not lube. It's actually just to stop the chain from rusting during transit and storage and inventory. So that's not what the lube is good. It will actually be a great lube for about 2 rides, and then it's gone. So people don't lube their chain when they get it new, kind of are ruining their chain from the onset. Anyway, so now what I'm going to do, chain is dry, dump out all the water here, and now what I'm going to do is denatured alcohol, and I'm going to pour some in. Close up the jar again. Now, because of denatured alcohol, has a much lower viscosity than the water. It will just get into all the chain all at once. Okay. I'm going to pull out the chain. And now I'm going to let this, because the water, the alcohol is now displacing all the water and pushing it out. Now we just got to let the chain dry. Now we're just going to let the chain dry. So what I'm doing now is I'm cleaning the strange chain stripper so I could use it again. And all I'm doing is pouring it through a cheap coffee filter with a funnel. And that's just going to filter through and dripping out the bottom, but just leave it alone. Don't mess with it. Come back in about an hour and it'll eventually all filter through. And then I will now put it into a sealed container like this. This is a painting mixing cup, which is pretty good because it's resistant to most thinners and other solvents, so it's good to use. And I have a cap for it because I don't really want to contaminate my new stuff. This is my Instapot with my food insert in it because that's how it lives. And now I take my wax one, which I cover over so I don't get any dust or anything. This is a old round wheel spoke, which is great for hanging the chain from, and I'll show you that later. Take the plastic off. And I'm going to put it in. I'm going to take the Instapot and head it to slow cook. And that's 9 hours and 30 minutes. But in about an hour, the wax, which is solid, should become molten. It just turned on. That's what that means. So it's going. So we'll come back in about an hour or so, 40 minutes. And since I'm waxing that chain, that's the gold chain was the second chain for my gravel bike. I also have all the other chains for my Athos and my Pinarello that also need waxing. So all of these chains have been boiled and cleaned and alcoholed. So now they're ready to go into the hot wax for waxing. I find it easier just to do a bunch at one time. Here you see the wax is starting to melt. Still have probably another 10 minutes until it's all molten. So now you could see that the wax is all molten, and we're going to check the temperature of the wax with my dedicated digital thermometer. So the wax is a little hot. We like it to be 75. So what I'm going to do is take the Instapot insert out of the Instapot, and I'm going to weave up one of the chains. So here I'm going to weave up one of the chains on a bent wheel spoke. Now, if you're buying the Silca system, you don't need one of these because it comes with this special chain, or cable rather, but this is what I do. So now I'm going to submerge the chain in the wax. And you see all these bubbles coming up. Okay? Those bubbles are the air gaps inside the chain, and they're coming up because it's being displaced by the wax. And I usually jiggle around a little bit to get more of it out. And let it sit for a minute. And I'm going to set out a piece of parchment to put the chain on after I'm done. Now that it's been sitting out, let me check the temperature again. Okay, all those bubbles seem to be on top. No more bubbles are coming up. So and you lay the chain down, or you can hang it. I tend to lay it down, let it just set. And now I'm just going to do a few more chains. And now these 3 chains are waxed, and you can see that they're kind of a little stiff. Because they really don't want to bend that much. See how they just hang there? So they have to break them in, and I'll show you that process in a moment. So now we're going to break in the chain, and as you can see, it's a little rigid, right? Normally chains don't do that. So, and what I do is I have a garbage can underneath this device. This I made because I had extra pulley wheels from when I swapped out my pulley wheels for ceramic speed pulley wheels. So now I have these. I bolted them to a board. And the first thing I do is I start with this one in the lower, and I just do a little working the chain through it to just break the chain immediately. So we start with that, and then I go all the way to the end to the other one, to the other end. And once I get to the end here, I then weave it through the 3 pulley wheels, like this. And as you can see, now we're really articulating the chain so it breaks. And this could all happen on the bike. It's just that you get debris all over the bike, and also it makes the bike feel like a lead sled for about the first mile or so. So by pre-doing it, you're getting off some of that chain, that wax that's slowing down the chain for the initial. And now, just so we're clear, I don't do this for better speed performance. I do it to make my equipment last longer. And you're going to find there's also pieces of wax stuck in between here. Sometimes you could use a small screwdriver to pull out the excess. Sometimes it gets really gunked in there, but this is what we do. By the way, I do recommend you not do this over carpeting or in some place that someone who you might live with might care about, because it will create a mess. So just so you know. And so now you can see the chain is much looser and it will not stand up anymore, which people do. And all you do is just run it over the pipe like this, and this will also break the chain. Here, I'll show you with another chain. This is another chain that I waxed, the 3 at the same. So you see, and you can see now, this chain also now bends over. So that's another good alternative. And that's how you wax a chain. Lots of luck, guys.